10th class, 100-day action plan. The 13th of December 2025. Question number 35B. Conversation. In the lesson, A Letter to God, Lencho was eagerly looking at the northeast sky, predicting a rain or shower to have a good harvest. He was contented at the cornfields he grew. He shared his pleasure with his wife. Imagine a possible conversation between Lencho and his wife. Question. In the lesson, A Letter to God, after receiving the money from the post office, Lencho counted it carefully and was surprised to find that it was less than what he had asked for. He felt angry and disappointed, thinking that someone had cheated him. Now, write a possible conversation between Lencho and his wife when he reached home after collecting the money. Question. In the lesson, A Letter to God, a few days after sending his letter to God, Lencho went to the post office to check if there was a reply. The postmaster, who had collected money with his friends to help Lencho, had placed the envelope on his desk. Lencho arrived with great faith and hope in his eyes. Now, write a possible conversation between Lencho and the postmaster when Lencho came to collect the money sent by God. In the lesson, First Flight, the young seagull was nervous to take his flight like his siblings. The mother and father were screaming derisively to take him to the first flight. Mother was looking at him and tempting him with a piece of fish. The seagull was maddened by hunger. Imagine a conversation between young seagull and his mother in this context. Question. In the lesson, The Black Aeroplane, after returning safely from his frightening flight, the narrator meets the woman at the control center and narrates the entire incident. He explains how he entered the storm clouds, lost all communication, and was running out of fuel. He also describes the mysterious black aeroplane that appeared suddenly and guided him to the runway. Now, write a conversation between the narrator and the woman showing the narrator's emotions and the woman's curiosity. Question. In the lesson, From the Diary of Anne Frank, Mr. Keesing, the maths teacher, was annoyed with Anne's behavior. He felt irritated by Anne's constant talking in class. He wanted her to write an essay on Chatterbox, which she did. Write a possible conversation between Mr. Keesing and Anne when he gives her extra homework. In the lesson, From the Diary of Anne Frank, the teacher gives her to write an essay on the topic, Chatterbox. In response to this, Anne Frank writes an essay titled, Quack, Quack, Quack. Her classmates laugh and Mr. Keesing enjoys it too. Write a possible conversation between Anne and her classmate after this incident. In the lesson, T from Assam, Pranjal, a youngster from Assam is Rajveer's classmate at school in Delhi. Pranjal's father is the manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam and Pranjal has invited Rajveer to visit his home during the summer vacation. Rajveer came over there and enjoyed the scenery very much. Pranjal gave an account of the place and the history of tea in Assam. Write a possible conversation between Pranjal and Rajveer based on the above context. In the lesson, Madam rides the bus, Vali finally completed her first bus ride after months of planning. She observed every detail of the journey and tried to behave like a grown-up. The conductor enjoyed talking to her, often joked with her. On her return journey, he continued speaking kindly and tried to make her feel comfortable. Write a possible conversation between Valley and the conductor during the return trip. In the lesson, Sermon at Benares, you have read the story of Kissa Gotami. She lost her son. You have seen how the Buddha guided her from grief to understanding the concept of death. Imagine that the Buddha, after reading the story, you feel confused and emotional about the idea that death is natural and common to all. The Buddha gently explains the truth of life to Kissa Gotami and clears her doubts one by one. Write a possible conversation between Kissa Gotami and the Buddha, focusing on the message of the lesson. In the lesson, Sermon at Benares, Kissa Gotami asked for a mustard seed to bring her dead child back. She approached a villager who listened to her with sympathy. He details the losses in his own family and tried to make her understand that death comes to everyone. This moment made her think deeply before she continued her search. Write a possible conversation between Kissa Gotami and the villager. In the lesson, The Proposal, we have read Lomov and Natalia quarreling over the ownership of Oxen Meadows. Both of them have their viewpoint and claim on the meadows. There were heated exchanges about the ownership of the meadows. Write a possible conversation between Lomov and Natalia in this context. Include the points mentioned in the lesson. In the lesson, The Proposal, Lomov and Natalia have a discussion about Guess and Squeezer, two dogs. They discuss their characteristics and features in detail. The qualities are compared and contrasted. Write a conversation between Lomov and Natalia, with this context in focus.